So Steve Hanley, our Vice President of the CRE Division, Construction and Real Estate Division, is here today to present on Aktion Analytics integrated with Sage 300. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Steve.
I want to just take a minute and show you a product that we've developed here at Aktion called Aktion Analytics. Everybody's all the world about dashboards and instant information and easy access to information has been pretty hot for quite a while. And as much as we really like and sometimes even love our Timberline, renamed as Sage 300 CRE a few years ago, when that product was developed, the whole concept of dashboards and graphical things like that may have been in somebody's dream, but it was not a reality. So what we've been able to do is we've partnered with a company that is a BI tool and dashboarding tool. They've allowed us to white label their product, Aktion Analytics, but it's Focus, PHOCAS is the company that actually is the engine behind it. And what we've done is we've taken their tool set and we've connected it to Sage 300 CRE. And what we've been able to do is very successfully enable web-based dashboards available for customers to use so that you can distribute your information to folks without giving them access to Timberline, because they don't want a remote desktop in. You don't want them getting in and messing around with stuff that you may not think they ought to get into, or they'll go mess something up. And so this is a great reporting and dashboarding tool available for you because it's read-only. You can control with permissions who can see what, and that's that's what we'll do. Let me take a second here, get the screen share going.
So we did have a few more people join, so I just want to let everyone know you have the ability to unmute yourselves on today's session. Since we have such a small group, we can make it a little bit more interactive if people have questions and comments.
Okay. Here we go. Awesome. I should be seeing my screen now, correct?
Yep, you're good.
All right, good. Very good. I'll lose everything else, but now I can find that. So anyway, so what I was talking about, we've developed this tool to enable customers to have the ability to distribute their information on their projects and to people who are not in the office. Field people need it all the time. And it's browser-based. All you need is an internet connection and then, of course, a login ID type of stuff. But it doesn't tie up any of your Timberline Sage 300 licenses. It lets you get in, be able to distribute information, share information, that kind of stuff. So so what we've done, we've taken this, we've built some content around it. That's a great launch pad or template, if you will. We've got several companies using this now. They've taken this content and they said, hey, that's great. Can we add this? Sure. We can do this. Yes. And we've taken this content, kind of tailored it to some specifics that they might need, and it's working quite well. So what I want to do is I'll take a minute here and just start you from when I launched the product. You come into this. Come into the home page. This is where I land, where I hit the home page or hit the Aktion Analytics logo again. But the most important thing is the home page is determined by the user. So this isn't the home page for everybody, and it doesn't need to be the home page for everybody. So that's the important thing. Some people, you may want to be able to, so anyway, they have different purposes. So you have some sections here. This first section is alerts. We can build alerts within Aktion Analytics that give you some information about, hey, we've got some problems here. We have some jobs that might be exceeding their estimate. You've got some calculations we can do. Again, other information. I clicked on that and I didn't really want to right yet. There's my job that's over budget. Pardon me. Second section is you got a bookmark section, so you can go through, put my favorites in there. My bookmark, my favorite things I want to see. I'm going to filter on dashboards and say click all the dashboards. So down here at the bottom is the rest of everything else. So these are all the dashboards that are available to me that has been shared to me and I have permission to look at. Databases, that's the other little icon here. This is basically the data sources that come from. So your Sage 300 accounts payable data, that's the source for some of these. So that makes sense when you start looking at how the dashboards are built and how the reports are put together. So just let's get into one real quick. We've got one here. This is the first one I like to show is the one we've built for a project manager. And what that does is that goes in and it pulls in all the projects we have. And again, you can filter that by that project manager seeing only his or her projects, and giving you some great high-level summary information. So you can kind of see project by project, you know, where's your contract to revenue, estimated cost or budget cost to actual cost. You know, let me scroll down just a bit. You can see build versus cost, OpenAR versus OpenAP by projects. So, and again, you can see as you hover over those, you actually see the actual real numbers. Cash position by project type of thing. Scroll down just a little bit more, you start seeing now more, instead of a graphical data, more of a tabular data information about the jobs. And we've kind of got these content broken up. This is a job cost summary. So you can see this is, you've got your list of your jobs, your cost estimate, your committed cost, your remaining to commit, your actual cost, remaining estimate, and then percent complete calculations. Very simple. So you can, at a quick glance, you can kind of see some basic information. Same information on the projects. Change management. Where are we at with change orders? Here's estimate approved changes. You know, commitment changes, revised. And then on the contract side, the revenue side, what's my contract changes look like? What's my revised contract look like? Scroll down. Now I've got my contract and billing side of it. So now I can see, oh, what's my contract about again? What's been billed against that? What's remaining to bill? What's my percent billed? So you've just got a good place here. You can see a lot of information. As I scroll down, you start seeing some graphics form at the bottom. You can do labor analysis and tracking hours and things like that as well. So I'm going to scroll back up just a little bit. What's really nice about this, though, is now we can go in, and from all these highlights here on the left, these are basically hyperlinks, and everybody's pretty used to those. I can click on that particular project, and let's go drill into that particular project. So what that does, it opens up another tab in my browser, refreshes the data, but applies the filter for my job 03002. Yeah, similar information there, but now I'm just looking at this one job. So a project manager can say, I need to really drill into this job. Let's take a good hard look at it. He sees where his revenue and his contract are, estimate versus cost versus commitments, his cash position, OpenAR and AP, etc. But what this changes, this dashboard changes a little bit, because now your field guy can go in and start looking at some detailed information as well. You know, the cost information, you know, committed costs, remaining to commit. But now we can break it down. We've got it broken down by the cost type, divisions of work. But you can also, now you can actually, he or she can drill in and start looking at, there it is, by the cost code. And I can go into any one of those cost codes and break it down by the cost type. So now we can see what's the material component, what's the labor component, where am I upside down? So at a pretty, just a few quick clicks, you can see where he's upside down on that cost code. And then we can drill into the even deeper and say, well, we've got labor burden, and overtime. So got a lot of labor burden on this job. So anyway, so that's just the way you can take a look at it and have access to your information. Very nice way to get into stuff and look at it. We can scroll down a little farther, look at the job cost transactions. So this actually gets you the opportunity to go in. Again, same thing, broken down by the cost codes. We can go look at, the material transactions, start seeing what we've got out here. So you see there's a accounts payable invoice, material, who it was. Roll over a little bit, see the actual dollar amounts. My screen is limited. So just the opportunity to get in and see lots of information quickly. And again, this is a browser, so you're not given any access into Timberline that you don't want. So you've got change management data that we're tracking, that we've got built out some content. So the idea here is just to help everybody understand this is something that is a tool set for you that can certainly help and benefit and hopefully make life a little easier. So I'm going to close this tab and go back to my main one. The other thing that we can do quite nicely is on these particularly these tabular reports, I've got a button out here that says Analyze. On the right, it looks like it's like a right turn arrow on a street. It says Analyze, but that was hidden by my yellow cursor. That will break it down into, open up the same report, looks the same, but now you're in a different tab. But it gives you the capability now. You can actually go in and drill down a little bit more. You can take this, you can print, export, email it, save it as a CV, export it as an Excel sheet, or email it, type of thing. So you can certainly do that. Since I'm looking at all my jobs, I might want to turn, and it gives you the capability here on the left-hand side. I've got some of my key fields. Like, well, let's sort this by project manager, and let's see how my project managers are doing side by side. So you can do that. Lots of different ways of doing things, locking things down, looking at things, I should say. All right. So we do a lot of good things like that with this product, and it's one of these things that's kind of, you let your mind go, let you kind of figure out what's, where do you have gaps in reporting, and what do you need to look at. So those are some job cost reports that we've done, or dashboards, I should say. Let me go back to my home page. Another one that's really kind of nice that we've done that I really kind of having fun with is this one. You actually can do financial statements and distribute financial statements. Again, you can filter them and control who can see what. So there's lots of privileges you can turn on or off. But we quickly built an entity and budget comparison here. So here's total. This is all of my entities. So you can see where it's my current, previous, it's my budget, etc. Here I'm looking at just division 10 or company 10 of mine. And then you can turn around, and any one of these you can drill into seeing the detailed GL counts underneath those, however we've rolled them up. Revenue is that. Cost of sales are those. So you can kind of see where it looks. And or you can say click on the double down arrows and just see everything will expand accordingly. So you can see where you actually have, now we can kind of cross beyond just having job cost information available to us. We can actually look at all kinds of good financial information and share that financial information with everybody. Again, so if we wanted to sit there and hit the Analyze button, we can break it out into a separate screen, look at it a little deeper, and then we can decide to change possibly what groups we want to have. Well, you know what? Don't want 22 in there anymore. And you can set that quickly. Got it. Thank you, Mr. Help Wizard. Oh, Help Wizards tell me all kinds of new things. So now I can break down and just see just those two divisions here, or two entities here. So you can, again, places you can go in, sort, and decide what different ways you want to look at the data together. So good tool for that. So I like to make these somewhat interactive, so if you guys have got yourselves unmuted, feel free to ask questions throughout this, because it's, you know, this is, it's not difficult to show this, and it's certainly interesting to see what it is. So if I scroll across, you see 1010, you see 1021, you see 10, you know, to 22, you see all the divisions. As I scroll across, the screen gets kind of wide that way. But then, of course, the first one is everybody consolidated. So you can see consolidated plus individual financial data on the screen.
Angie's saying she can't unmute. I tried again.
Oh, geez.
Unmute. Okay. Oh, panel. I don't know. That's panelists. Hold on. Like I said. Hello, panelists. Unmute. All right. Let me try one thing. Okay, Angie, I just requested you. It looks like you should be able to unmute yourself now. There you go. Oh. Try again.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yay!
Yay! Hey, Steve. Hey, like, so when you click on the operating expenses, for instance, and you go to a detail line, does it drill all the way down to what's in that operating expense?
I believe this is right now it's showing you just what the totals are for whatever months. Again, you can determine what months you want to see. And I think we've just got, you know, we're running January right now, just with
Right.
our test data. Let me see. This is new, so we all get to learn together. Yeah, no, it just shows what's the balances in those accounts are right now, as you highlight that. Yeah. Can we drill into the transaction detail? Yes, we certainly can do that. That could be something that could be built into this, no problem. So it looks like they're just account balances at this point in time.
Cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If anybody else has any questions or comments, just put something in the chat, and I will allow you to unmute yourself. Looks like we're good.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I'll kind of go back to the beginning again and just take a few minutes to recap, because, you know, there's not a lot to show on this as far as, you know, wow factor. It's just a great tool to have some dashboards available for you. Let me show you a couple others we have. Filter on my dashboard so I don't get lost. We have an executive dashboard, for lack of a better term, that shows some KPI performance cards at the top. But again, those could calculate it out. Those are driven off of your GL data. Your cash positions, again, for the whole company, bank balances, AR aging, AP aging. You see, I don't pay or get paid by anybody. So that's a nice, again, great thing for an executive to use. Hey, keeps his finger on the pulse of the company, cash positions, and anything else can be added. There's lots of different information we can add out here as well. That's one example. Some of the others that we've done that are really useful. Guess the other one, I think that's the one we were looking at. Okay, slightly different look at, again, this more of a controller look where you might want a little more detail for a CFO or controller. Same thing out here. We've shared these same dash component. That's the thing. Once you create a dash part, it can be put to any dashboard, and you can set your privileges accordingly. But you scroll down here now, so we've got one here with some accounts receivable information. Again, nobody pays me, but now you actually broke it down, and I can see who those people are. And we can actually break it down a little further by hitting the plus sign and see, oh, it's one invoice. But if it was multiple invoices, you'd see the invoices spread out. You can see a little summary of your top 10 customers of your 90. And then we'll scroll down here. Now you can see, get my mouse scroll to work the way I want. Now you can see accounts payable side of the world. So, what's my accounts payable? My mouse is being really touchy today. So same thing. Who's your top accounts, money you owe to, break it down by all the invoices type of thing. And then scroll down just a little bit more. You'll see we've got some AR by job summaries, AP job summaries. And again, all these can also be turned into, we hit the Analyze button, and we'll come up and we'll see the grid view of this information. And if we need to sort it a different way, we certainly can sort it a different way. Or if we need to look at a different type of field or different type of calculations, we want to include retainage. Let's include retainage held and paid and original retainage. So we can include those columns. Now you see more information. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to navigate and get some of the data you need. Again, same thing as mentioned earlier. You can email these straight from here, export it to Excel or a PDF, or actually print if you'd like to. All right.
Steve, somebody asked me how long it takes for implementation. Can you talk about what that process is?
Yeah, let's move into that phase. Good call. So implementation doesn't take terribly long. We budget about 4 to 6 hours to get everything configured. It takes about 2 days to get your site provisioned. Aktion Analytics runs in Amazon Web Services. We have a small footprint tool, a program that sits on your Sage 300 server. Then we'll configure, and that'll sync the data between the two. And the reason this is much quicker is we're not syncing all of your Sage 300 data. We're syncing only the data and those that is needed to drive these dashboards. If you think about it, if you've been using Sage 300 for a long time, you start looking at a transaction record. There's a lot of fields in there that nobody ever looks at. Operator ID, unless there's a problem. So a lot of those fields we don't need. So we don't need to muddy up the database with unnecessary data. So we'll think your Sage 300 data with your instance of focus, and then from that we'll want to make sure we map, like we've got these things templated out using certain formats for jobs and GL numbers and cost codes and what have you. If your formats are different, just a slight change of some of the configurations, we'll get that done. We'll get these things loaded out. Then the next thing is just getting your users set up so that you can have users access to the system. So, I mean, usually within about a week or less, you can be up and running.
Wow, that's fast.
That is fast.
We have any questions from the attendees? You can either enter them in the chat or you can raise your hand and I can unmute you. What is the cost?
The cost is pretty reasonable. It's an annual subscription, and we have two different types of users. The user I'm showing you is the full user, and most companies will want a couple of those. And those are the people that will go in, design these, help or modify these dashboards, because we'll teach you how to do that, and can deploy them, or say we want to build a new set of dashboards and grab the components and do all that kind of stuff, and maybe even do a little bit deeper what-if analysis using some of those type of tools. So, a full licensed user is $1,800 a year. And then we have viewer licenses, which is going to be the bulk of the folks, which means they see the same stuff, they just can't go create anything. And you think about it, a project manager doesn't want to create it, he just wants to get his data, and so he can make his decisions and move on. And those are $300 a year per viewer license, so that's pretty reasonable. So, and then, like I say, then we got 4 to 6 hours thereabouts of implementation to get you up and running. Okay. So, on top of all that, again, we mentioned the financial statements. There is the financial statement has got that's a separate module, so that gets built out using that financial statement tool set. There's also one we haven't quite finished building out, which is called budgets and forecast. If you do a pretty sophisticated general ledger budgeting and forecasting function, it gives you the ability to deploy your budgets out here within Aktion Analytics. Each individual department head, division head, what have you, will have the ability to manage, maintain, adjust his or her budget. That gets updated, and it's all contained under the master budget process. And once that's all complete, everybody gets done. You go through the grueling budgeting process that everybody gets to go through. When it's all done, you can finalize the budget, and those budgets are set for the year. And then now you can actually do your reporting, financial reporting, against those budgets. So.
Awesome. Does anybody else have any comments or questions? Quiet group. I know it's a small group today. So.
Well, group today, quiet group. Well, if you think of anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You've got Amy's email information, contact information on the invitation. We'll certainly be happy to circle back with you. And if you want to go into a little deeper dive on the product on a one-on-one basis, we're more than happy to do that. At that time, I usually will get my consultant who's done most of this work involved and help us do that, so we can make sure we answer all your questions in one pass.
Yes, I'll send out a follow-up email later today or first thing in the morning with a link to the recording, and your sales rep will be copied just so they're aware that you attended today, and you can reach out to any of us with any questions.
You bet.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend with us, and hope you have a great afternoon. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Hope everybody has a good afternoon.